Kilo Alpha 4 Mike Radio Whiskey.
Roger that. This is KC9VKV, Kilo Charlie 9 Victor, Kilo Victor. Name is Jim, Juliet India Mike.
All right, well, the handle here is Mike India Kilo Echo. Did you say that call was Kilo Charles 9 Victor Charles Victor?
Victor Kilo Victor, Roger.
Okay, I got it there. I was just monitoring y'all's QSO there, and I think you said you had to work on a few things. Audio sounds good. I'm located in Rome, Georgia, about 50 miles south of Chattanooga, Tennessee, and about 70 miles northwest of Atlanta. And just want to say your station's sounding good. Audio is good and clear and loud. Got a good signal when you're there, 5.9 plus there. And just want to let you know whatever you was working on. Of course, I don't think anybody's ever said they use WD-40 on a contact. That's probably, it's a good application. Like you say, everybody has their choice of liquids, but if they use it, I don't think they've ever admitted it there, Roger.
Roger. Well, see, I was in commercial radio for 50 years, and I opened up my own recording studio and had a custom mix audio console with, these were, I'm still at that point, rotary mix controls, this was like in 79, and you spend 50 years twirling knobs, you're not exactly ready to start doing sliders, So this console was still rotary pot sealed, A.B. Allen Bradley control pots, and after about 4 years, the AB pots started getting a little staticky. You would hear that on low frequencies as you turn them down, mix them down. Low frequencies would tend to be scratchy. You could hear scratch. And it was quite difficult to replace those pots. There was quite a few of them. This console was like a 20 mix board console, so it was quite a bit of labor involved to replace those pots. So I just got me a drill, a wide bit, and drilled these sealed AB pots to the point that I could get a straw, WD-40 straw in them, and sprayed, and then manipulated the pot back and forth about 10 or 15 times from one end to the other. And we were back in business for about 3 years till it started to occur again, and I would just, I already had the pots drilled. I just took a can of WD, went through, and we're good for 4 more years. So that console, I haven't used it in a while. I'm retired now, but it did work for 25 years that way, and I'm sure if I'm ready to go back in the business there, I would take me a can of WD and spray those, and we'd be right back on top, Roger.
Yeah, Roger that. Well, sounds like a pretty good way to do it, no doubt about it there. I was looking up your QRZ page there and realized you're in New Albany, Indiana. I used to go out there for work, right? You're right there on the other side of the Ohio River from Louisville there, and we used to venture on the other side of the river there from time to time and see that said you work for a major AM broadcast facility at 50,000 watts. What type of transceiver did y'all use at that facility? Was that like a 3CX 20,000 type of tube, or what was y'all using there?
I'm not really sure. That transmitter, this is WHAS, 50,000 watt clear channel, and the transmitter was probably about 15 or 20 miles away in, oh gosh, I forget what the name of the town was, but I never actually went to the transmitter site, Roger.
Yeah, Roger that. Well, when you talk about amplifiers and transmitters and these radio stations that run all day, every day, they got to keep the air real low and all, and I've just always been interested to see what actually is in their transmitter facility, and that thing just keeps running 24/7, you know. And you look at, you know, I'm running an Ameritron AL82, you know, and it's got a long key down time, you know, longer than I would stay on air. But I just kind of like to see how they, you know, if that thing goes offline, what they use to come back and keep it going while they do any type of maintenance work and stuff. Just kind of interested to see one of them facilities one day.
Oh, roger that. I think they had 3 separate 50 kW transmitters out there. Some dating, the first one, I don't think you ever discard a 50 kW transmitter. They had the room to expand, so they just kept adding new transmitters. And like I say, I think there was about 3 50Ks out there. That transmitter building was serviced by 2 different power companies. 2 separate power companies had power going to that transmitter site, so in case one fell down, they had totally another power company serving their needs. And obviously, you know, 50 kW does a lot of water cooling, so they had the typical, and probably have the typical water pond in front of the transmitter building, where they would would run their coolant pipe through that to cool it down. It was a sealed water cooled situation for those finals. And as I understand it, the coax feeding the antenna was a 2-foot trench, actually a 2-foot gosh, I don't want to say. Anyway, 2-foot wide copper-covered trench that went out to the transmitter, and the center piece was solid copper, probably about 5 or 6 inches in diameter. Roger.
Oh yeah, well yeah, I'm sure they had to have something hefty there to keep the RF down and to be able to transfer that amount of current through there, through the broadcast signals there. But anyway, we was, like I said, we was in there listening and kind of monitoring y'all's previous QSO, and we just wanted to come in there and see what kind of trip we were making out your way there. And like I said, we can see you're in New Albany, Indiana, because you're sounding real choice here in Rome, Georgia. And I'm using a Yaesu FTX or FTDX 5000. And with the Ameritron AL82, and antenna tuner is a AT2K Palstar, and I'm running on the vertical side. I got a 43-foot vertical with no ground radials out, designed and built by 05 Antennas up in Chicago, Illinois. There, Roger.
Oh, Roger, Roger. Well, you know, that's a totally different beast there. That vertical radiator without ground radios is amazing. You know, obviously in broadcast AM transmitters, they all have, you know, tremendous ground radio saturation. I forgot how many degrees apart, but quite a few in the ground there to make that vertical antenna work. And the fact that they can do that on your antenna without having horizontal ground radios is just amazing, Roger.
Yeah, Roger. Well, it is recommended to have, I think it was a minimum of 8 or 9. And I had all intentions, and may still, to putting the ground radios down. But after I got it up, I got it stood up, and it's just got a hinge on it where, you know, one person can raise and lower it to do any type of maintenance or removal or whatever process is. I just dug the pole, dug the hole with the post hole digger and stuck some satcrete down in there, and with my Schedule 40 pipe, and let it cure and set up for a week. And anyway, I put the antenna up, and I said, well, let me just go in here and test it. And walked in and was receiving well and transmitting well. And I said, well, heck, if I'm doing this good without it, what's the point of putting the radios out? And we don't have any problem hearing, and I guess from what we're being told, we don't have any problem transmitting. And we're using a Hal HM12 microphone here, and don't have no audio board or anything, just using the audio settings in the Yaesu 5000 that I adjusted and kind of just on the monitor side back in the headphones, just got it to where I thought it sounded right and a little bit better from the factory setting. So that's pretty much how we set ours up there. Roger.
Roger, sounds really good. Sounds good. And just out of curiosity, what kind of SWR are you running on that vertical radiator?
Well, with the Palstar AT2K antenna tuner, I am just about perfectly flat. When I hit my highs on the peaks, it just barely cracks the needle over the zero mark, so it's less than 1.1.
Roger, Roger. What is it without the tuner?
Well, it depends on what type of power. Obviously, we're running into it. I guess the highest I've ever seen it non-tuned, into the tuner was probably about a 1.8, 1.5.
Roger that. Roger. Well, that's easy compensation with the tuner there. I was just curious. And on that antenna, I'm not seeing one, but do they do any? What do they do on the as the transmission line comes into the vertical radiator? What do they do with the shield side? Do they have actual lead counterpoise going down from that?
Well, it's got a ballon, has a ballon, and screw your coax into the ballon, obviously, and your positive side connects to your antenna on the ballon, and your negative side goes to a ground rod. So I got a 6-foot ground rod pounded in the ground there, and I've got about maybe 2 inches sticking above ground level there with a clamp with a solid copper ground wire, probably I don't know, maybe half-inch thick. Stuck down there. I wanted to make sure I had a real good contact on my ground. But I think it's a 4-to-1 ballon, if I remember correct.
Roger that. Well, you might, just out of curiosity, might take you a couple of 10-foot ground rods and put one on either side of the one that you've got there and tie them all together and see what that does to your SWR. I'm sure that you're probably shy on the ground side of your match, so if you put a little more, ground rod in the earth, you might help your problem or your SWR, lower your SWR. And the other alternative to that would be just to take one horizontal ground situation out there about 66 feet or so. If you've got that kind of space, just one might really also lower your SWR,
Yeah, roger that. KA4MRW. Yeah, I've thought about, all I got to do is just go to Lowe's and just get a spool of 14-gauge copper coated wire and just run it up to the negative side of the terminal off the ballon. And I thought about putting out about 4, because I am kind of limited on the space. I live in a subdivision, so I don't, and that was the whole reason of choosing the 43-foot vertical, because there is enough room, but I just didn't want to, I guess in better terms, trash up my location with a bunch of wires hanging everywhere. And cause, this area I live in had a covenant in it, and it has expired, and so I kind of felt if I got it too trashy looking, for better sense, they might want to enact something, and then I'd have to regroup with something else, But the antenna just really almost looks like a flagpole, and actually I thought about buying the flagpole antenna that 05 makes. If you go online and just Google 05 built or made antennas, you'll see all of the antennas he builds and designs and ships out, and been very, very happy with the 43-footer here. But you are right. I actually thought about almost not doing a full closed loop, but putting out some ground radials out in almost a horseshoe shape and tying them together and see how that worked. Of course it's 55 degrees and raining here today, but we've had a little bit of a winter here. But up here, kind of when spring comes around, I thought about trying a few different things just to see if we do have any type of difference, maybe on the receive or maybe even with our FWRs there.
Oh, roger that. Well, you know, obviously you're that antenna is doing you a great job. I mean, you're coming in here 5, 9 times 2. Roger, roger.